All right, so let's look at this review quick, and then we'll get started with it. All right, this one. Which of these four answers makes sense? Well, does it have a 5 first or a 4 first? 4, because the initial value is 4. 0, 4. 0 tells you the x value is 0. That gives you the initial value. 4 is where the initial value is. So 4. So it's one of these two. Now, our second point is at 220. How do we know that? Well, if we put a 2 in for each of these, let's put it in for here first because it's easier. 5 squared is 25 times 4, 100. Well, that's not 2 100. If we put a 2 in here, 2 over 2 is 1. 5 to the first is 5 times 4 is 20. Hey, that makes sense. The answer is C. Okay? All right. Then you just match the graph. 7 to the negative x power is 1 over 7 to the x power minus 3. Okay? So if you put in a 0, you're at negative 3. If you put in a 1, you're at negative 2 and 6/7. If you keep going higher, then you keep getting closer to 3. Okay? So you're going to be really close to 3 or negative 3. So I would guess it's A. Okay? Because if it was y equals 7 to the x, compared to 7 to the x, it's 7 to the negative x. If you have a negative power of x, then it's going to flip it over the y-axis, not the x-axis. Should flip it over the y-axis. No, I'm wrong there. 1, negative 2 and 6/7. If we go 10, that would be negative. That would be really close to negative 3. Oh, 0 is not negative 3. 0 is 1 minus 3, which is negative 2. 0 is negative 2. Then that's negative 2 and 6/7. And this is really close to 3. 2 and something, but it's almost close to 3. So as we go there, we're getting really close to 3. As we go negative, if we go like negative 2, that would flip it to be 49 minus 3. So a negative 2 would be 49 minus 3, or 46. Because 1/7 to the negative 2 power would be 7 to the second power, which would be 49 minus 3, 46. So negative 2, 46. So it's coming like this. It's going down like this. It's got to be that one. Okay? So compared to 7 to the x power, 7 to the x power would look like this. So it is flipped across the y-axis and shifted up. It says shifted up. No, it's shifted down. So shifted down. So it shifted over the y-axis and shifted down 3 units. Okay? All right. Growth or decay? Decay, because it's less than 1. Okay? Because it's in between 0 and 1. So it's a decay function because it's that. So it's going to look like this. Okay? So as it goes towards negative infinity, it's going to go up to infinity. As it going towards infinity, it's going to get really close to 0, right? Because 0.3 to the x on y equals clear 0.3 raised to the x power graph should go like that and get really close to 0, but never quite cross 0. So it should be really close to 0. As we go to the left, it goes towards infinity. Okay. What's the initial number of the bacteria there? 100. Because that's that number. Okay. After 6 hours, you just plug this into your graphing calculator, put a 6 in there, and solve. Is this growth or decay? Growth, because it's the number bigger than 1 there. Okay? What's the constant percentage of growth? Well, it's 18% growth because it's 100 plus another 18%. So it's 118%, so it's 18% of growth. Okay? Growth or decay? Decay. It's decay because this is less than this because the rate is less than 0. Don't mix this one up. This is exponential decay because the rate is less than 0. It's up here, that one right there. Okay? And even though this number is in between 0 and 1, it's r plus, it's 1 plus r. So then if this is a negative number, that's how it makes it less than 1. So this is less than 0. Be careful of that. People miss that every year. So don't miss that. Okay, so 1 minus this gives us our percentage, which is 112.112, because 1 minus 0.888 is 0.112. So it's 11.2%. And it's a negative. I wonder if they want it negative. Let me go down to 6 and see. 6, nope, they want positive, but it's less than 0. So the constant percentage rate is 11.2%. All right, exponential function, initial value, that decreasing at a rate of 50% per year. So P sub t equals the initial value of 15 times it's reducing at a rate of 50%, so 0.50, because 100 minus 50 is 50, to the t power. Initial population is 439,000, increasing at a rate of 1.28% per year, so it's 1.028, that's 2.8% per year, t. Here, you take this number, that's your initial value, and you take this one, and if you take this one divided by this one, so your f of x equals your initial value, 3.3 times whatever the 1 number is divided by the 0 number is, and then that'll give you your ratio. Okay? The limit to growth is 90. So you know it's either A or D. 90 divided by what is 15? 90 divided by what is 15? 6. So you need it where it's 6. This one's 16. That doesn't work. So it's this one. The initial population of the city was 733,000. And it's growing at a rate of 1.52% per year. So 1.0152 to the time power. You have to graph this one, you have to graph a million, and you have to see where those two graphs cross on your graphing calculator. Doubling time, this doubles in 4 years. The time required to get from 50,000 to 100,000 or 100,000 to 200,000 is 4 years. Okay? So it's going to double, it's going to grow, it's going to be twice, and so on. Okay? A single cell amoeba doubles every 5 days. How long will it take to produce that? So if it's doubling time, we start with 1 single cell amoeba. It's going to double every 5 days, so it's the time divided by 5. Okay? So you graph this, you graph 3,500, and you see where the lines cross. Here, you put an x on this side. 8 to the x equals 512. I think 8 to the third power? What's 8 to the third? 512. So it's 3. This one, if we put an x there, the base of this is 10. So 10 to the x equals 10 to the fifth. So x must equal 5. ln's and e's cancel each other out. So it's negative 1. The ln of 1 equals x. So e to the x equals 1. E to the what equals 1? E to the 0 equals 1. Tans and logs cancel each other out, so this is just 0.8. E's and ln's cancel each other out, so that's just 2. And this one you'd use your calculator and just type it into your calculator. And then this one is what we had today. So it's just the only thing that happened to this one is it translated down by 8 units from the normal log. Okay, so 21 questions. You have the sample test out there. The test is, or the sample quiz is out there. The quiz is tomorrow. Okay, that's what we got.